As the editor-in-chief of the College Football America Yearbook, I find myself on the sidelines of major college football games practically every weekend. So I get to see players that could be helpful to the Dallas Cowboys up close. As Cowboys 247 approaches the NFL draft, I'm going to put that work to good use and try and profile some of these players. Today I take a look at a player that could be available late in April's draft, Michigan State safety Khari Willis. Khari Willis, 6 foot 216 pounds. The day I saw Willis, the Michigan State Spartans played the Utah State Aggies in a season opener. I didn't know much about Willis going into that game, but I found out quickly how solid a player he was. By the end of the evening, Willis had 7 tackles, 3 pass breakups and an interception. Willis' first tackle was on a 28-yard gain by Jordan Nathan, who ran a crossing route out of the slot. Willis was actually his cover man in this case and he gave up contain, which just goes to show that even quality players make mistakes. But Willis had the presence of mind to stay with the play and make the tackle on his own. Willis' second solo tackle was similar. Again, Nathan was in the slot and Willis was the deep cover safety. Nathan ran another crossing route and made another fine catch. This time Willis kept the play in front of him and prevented a touchdown. These 2 tackles happened on the first drive of the game on Utah State's offensive philosophy played a role in the Spartans giving up that touchdown. The Aggies played at pace and went no huddle. The Spartans wanted to keep the Spartans from substituting, and the Spartans, as a whole, were slow to adjust. But once they did, Willis' play started to improve. Late in the first quarter, Willis ended up man-to-man on tight end Dax Raymond on 3rd down. Raymond ran a pretty simple route, about 10 yards upfield and then a cut to the right. The Aggies quarterback Jordan Love threw a solid pass to Raymond's outside shoulder. But Willis had great coverage. He ran close to Raymond, kept his coverage with a minimum of contact, and then batted the ball down. It was a great example of the kinds of plays safeties have to make when they're in mismatch situations, because a tight end being defended by a safety is a good offensive matchup in the NFL. See the full play below. Now we go to the interception, which came in the second quarter. This pick came just after a change of possession and led to a Spartan score. This also might be the easiest interception of Willis' college career. Love had dropped back and was under duress. As he threw the ball downfield, his pass was intended for a receiver about 20 yards downfield running a seam route. The ball fluttered right into Willis' hands. Willis then returned it about 20 yards. So, why is a play like this a big deal? I mean, it's basically a broken play. Well, first, how many Cowboys defenders have you seen drop relatively wide-open interception attempts the past few years? Yeah, there you go. Second, Willis was well-positioned here to help on the seam route. So if he's not minding the area of the field he's supposed to be minding, well, the interception doesn't happen. Here's the video. Willis' next pass breakup came early in the 3rd quarter and falls into that missed opportunity category. In this case, however, he showed great anticipation in coming across the field and cutting off a pass intended for an Aggies receiver running a seam route. Willis just couldn't rope in the catch and it was one he could have had. His last pass breakup of the game was a critical part of the Spartans winning this one and an example of the kind of jump ball that Willis has the ability to win. Utah State went for the deep pass on this one, even though Love was flushed out of the pocket. He threw down the sideline and had an open receiver. 2 Spartans, including Willis, were in pursuit. I was on the near sideline for this play and had a real good look. In real time it looks like the receiver loses the football as he goes to the ground. But upon replay you see that Willis' dogged pursuit of the play and his ability to close the gap between him and the defender had a lot to do with it as well. Here's the video. The Spartans won, but Willis and the defense was gassed after this one. Utah State ran them ragged, and that was the game plan. but the game set Willis up for a fine senior campaign. Willis was a captain for the Spartans in 2018. He finished with 84 tackles, third best on the team. His interception against Utah State was one of 2 interceptions for the season, and he ended up with 10 pass breakups. He also ended up with a Senior Bowl invitation, and I'm pressed scouts there, as well. He also has an invitation for the NFL Scouting Combine later this month. That to me, tells me that NFL talent evaluators see him as a player who will hear his name called on draft weekend. Khari Willis and John Gruden celebrate the North winning the Senior Bowl. Willis played about 50 snaps and didn't allow a catch while only being thrown at once. pic.twitter.com/mexlut4saw, Matt Wenzel, @Wenzel2. January 26, 2019. What I saw that night in East Lansing was a player with NFL potential, either as a safety or even as a nickel or dime corner. He probably won't start right away because I'm not sure he's ready to be a defender consistently in close quarters. But he showed me an innate ability to play center field, roam the middle and make plays on the ball. And that's a primary role for a safety in the NFL. The days of being a run-specific safety, to me, are over in this league. Willis can defend the pass and is a solid tackler with the football in front of him. He also has enough speed to make up ground, as the last video showed. So where does Willis sit right now? As a strong safety, he's no. 11 on DraftScout.com, and that site considers him to be a 7th-round pick. I think he may rise up draft boards a bit based on what I saw in East Lansing and his performance at the Senior Bowl. Based on what I read coming out of that week, Willis did nothing but help his stock. And he could help it more by showing 4.4 speed at the combine. His DraftScout.com profile shows a low 40 time of 4.48. If he can post that at the combine, scouts will take further notice. Where could Willis fit in with the Cowboys? Well, Dallas is certainly well-stocked at the position right now, with Jeff Heath and Xavier Woods as the starters, newcomer George Aloka in the rotation, and Kevin Frazier and Darian Thompson as the backups. To me, however, Willis could still be worth a selection. He's a solid tackler, with a good coverage skills and good anticipation. There aren't significant holes in his game. I feel he still has a ceiling to reach. In other words, there's room for improvement. He's the type of player I could see really benefiting from a year with Cowboys secondary coach Chris Richard, a coach that could accelerate Willis' improvement as a player. I wrote, going into 30 visits week, if Willis is on the clock on day 3 and the Cowboys have shown an interest during the pre-draft process, I think he's worth bringing to town. For our pal Bobby Belt, he's at the Star in Frisco this week. That's a start.